Hello, everybody. This is Bradford at Tech Tinker on Twitter, and today what I'm going to show you is my very first Minecraft lesson. So, everybody, please be kind. This is my first time actually producing a Minecraft video, but I had actually a great time doing it. So, the focus that I'm going to be talking about in this Minecraft lesson today is going to be force and motion in science. So what will happen is I'm going to go ahead and change my point of view. Okay, so basically now your character is going. The first place they're going to go is the inventory chest, the very first one where it says place book in inventory, read objective, put back in chest. That's very important. If you're in this Minecraft world, you're gonna open your chest. You're going to grab the book and quill for right now, and then you will scroll to where your cursor is over the book and quill, and you're going to read it. So basically, it's telling you what your objective is for this Minecraft lesson. I'm going to just kind of sum it up. You're going to make three 5 by 16 rectangles. So there's your math in there. So they got to construct that. And you're going to do that per station. Now, depending on how long you have in class, depending on your technology, depending on Wi-Fi, whatever, you may only have time to do one station. You also may have kids who are really good at obviously doing the Minecraft, so you may want to split them into three different stations, or depending on how fast they are, you may have them do all three. It's totally up to you. Or if you're limited to just a single type of technology or just low on technology, you can show a video like this and have them make predictions. You can pull out manila paper or graph paper and have them look at the supplies in the video, pausing the video, looking at the supplies that you need to work with, have them draw and map it out and make discussions. If you are blessed to have a lot of devices in your room, you can have them build these stations again, and you're going to need to use a timer. So that's basically what this is saying. I'm going to click out of it, and I'm going to put the book and quill back in the chest, and I am going to start my first station. So you're just basically going to follow this brick guide, so you can do station 1, 2, or 3. I like to go in order, so I'm going to the first station, and the first station is called the watering hole. Hole being a keyword, that's why I have it in quotation. So maybe you're gonna have to do something in order to build this station. So I'm gonna go into the step 1 chest, and I have my items here. In a creative mode, the number really doesn't matter, but you want the students to say, okay, these are the number of items you have to work with in your step 1. So you kind of want to stick to those items. So I'm going to grab all of my inventory for, or my items for, this particular station, and the book and quills are in my hand. So I'm going to see, well, what is this station about? So basically what this is saying is you're going to build your 5 by 16, and you need to look at what your mode of transportation is. Notice that in your mode of transportation, it is a boat. And then you have grass blocks, you have torches, you have ice, you of course have your book and quill, you have slate, and then you have a sponge. So you may ask the question, like, why do you think we need all this? Where we have a boat, which is a mode of transportation, so you may want to ask the question, just to, depending on who your student audience is, what are we going to need for this mode of transportation? They should say water. So, but you have a block of ice, so that means that you're going to have to change the state of matter. So they should be able to tell you these things with the items that are in your inventory. So I give little hints saying that within this objective to what you needing to do, but I also tell the students, okay, you think like you're an architect. You may want to start planning out, sketching it out before you actually do the building. These are what real architects do. So then you're bringing in those real world problems into your game. So let's say we're going to go ahead and start this. We're going to start where our purple square is, and click done. I'm going to go on ahead and get my green grass block, and I'm going to do a 5 by 16 rectangle. Not very fast at this, like my own kids are, but we're gonna do our best. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now I have my pretty much my 5 by 16 rectangle. You can have the kids count it out, make sure it's the right measurement. Maybe you can do it smaller, maybe you can do bigger, but we're gonna stick close to this. So now we gotta figure out. Okay, we gotta stick water in here. We gotta put a boat in here, and it has to travel from the beginning to the end. So how are we gonna transform this block of ice into another state of matter? So they should say you need to heat it so it can change the state of matter. So what are we going to need to do? So we're probably going to need to put our torches around, but we also need to lay our ice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these 3 white slabs, sandstone slabs, and I'm going to put them right here. And you're going to see why in just a minute. Okay, so I'm going to put one more green grass block up here, and I'm going to stick my mode of transportation at the top. Let me see if I can float. I'm going to turn this around because it needs to be in the direction of where I want it to go. Perfect. And now I'm going to need my block of ice. And watch when I put my block of ice. This is what I like about Minecraft. So I'm going to put my block of ice near the ceramic slab. Excuse me. So the beauty of this is it is floating somehow in midair. I do not know how in Minecraft, but it's because of the sandstone slab, it does it. So now we need to change this from a solid to a liquid state. So the kids say you need to add the torches. So we're going to add our torches around. Now as you can see now it is raining, and I have it set to where it stops. But you can also talk about the working conditions. How would the working conditions affect how you are building your station? So we're going to give it time here. We're going to see what happens when our ice block changes the state of matter. Now, depending on the game, it may take a while for it to change. So you could go on ahead, and if you want, you can go straight to the next station, or and look at the other objectives. So sometimes it does take a while. So as you see, because of the torches, the first ice block started to go on ahead and melt. Okay, so through the magic of video editing, all the ice has melted. So I want you to be aware of that the fact that depending on the gameplay, it may take longer to change the state of matter of the ice block. Just depends. So you need to talk to your students about, look at the current. How's the current flowing? You can have that discussion. So how is that going to make our mode of transportation move? As you can see, I've only used 3 blocks of ice because really it asked me to use 3. You see 9 down there, but you're going to be given 3. So how do we change this? They should ask those kind of questions. So you can have the students break the ice. So now our ice is broken, and you can see it's going to go downhill, and you can again have that discussion with your students on how is this, how is the mode of transportation supposed to move. You can tell them that because of the current, or they should be able to tell you because of the current, it should be able, the mode of transportation, the boat should be able to push down and go all the way to the end. Now sometimes if I'm lucky on this that the current is flowing in one direction. Either way out, sometimes you'll notice the current will be going left and right, but the main thing that you want to see is the boat going downhill to the very end, and that's how it will move. So we're going to have to use force to push this boat to the end. Okay, and this is where maybe you have a student maybe have a timer, and the minute I right click on my mouse, they start timing how fast does it take for the boat to get from one end to the other. So I'm actually going to use, we're going to go on ahead and get rid of this block, and it should move downhill. Okay, so now that your students have timed it, they have built their station. You can go into more discussion on what happened. We can maybe this is not the right configuration. Maybe students have another idea of how to build it so the boat can move from one end to the other. But this is just one example. So that's the first station. Now we're going to go over and look at the next station. This one is called Step 2, the Kiddie Coaster. What I'm going to do is let's go back and we are going to put all of our items back into Step 1. So I'm going to open up my chest and put everything back here. Okay, let's move forward to the next station. We're going to open up our chest. We're going to get everything that we need. Notice that the items are different. Coaster is the key word. Think about what exactly are you building in this section. Why do you have fewer items in this one? What's going to make the difference? So those are the discussions that you need to have with your kids. So we're going to go back. We're going to go to our book and quill. And excuse me, back up a bit. And this is pretty much going to tell us the same thing. On how you need to collaborate and how you need to build. We're still doing the 5x16, but now we're doing a different mode of transportation. Okay, so again, have them do a rough draft, have the kids collaborate, communicate to build their station. And basically, we're going to do the same thing again. So we're going to go to our purple slab, our block, and we're going to do our 5x16 block. Alright, so again, we have our 5x16 block. The numbers may not look as accurate. Maybe I overshot it a little bit, but that's okay for this tutorial. So again, we're modeling pretty much the next mode of transportation. We have a minecart and we have rails. So our minecart is our mode of transportation and we have rails. So let's think back. We're going to look at how our boat did. Maybe how are we going to get this minecart to move, because we don't have anything else but us pushing. So think about what the Step 2 sign says. Kiddie coaster. So ask your kids, okay, what do you know about roller coasters? They're probably going to say, oh, it goes down, it goes up. So we're going to have to build the track to go down. So we're going to go ahead and put a grass block in the middle, just like how we did over here. And then we're going to use our rails. So now we have our track set up, kind of like a coaster. We have, what I've done is I've put the block in the middle, just like I did with the ice. I placed my track here, and in order to get it downhill, I had to place another block inside the rectangle, so that way when I place the next track in, it would just automatically make it a diagonal line. So now the next step is I'm going to place my cart on the top. Okay, and this is probably where you want to go into discussion with your kids. Well, what was the other mode of transportation made out of, and what is this one made out of? And they'll go into probably, oh, it's made of stone, or it's made of steel, and the other one was made of wood. And you can ask the students, well, okay, would that make a difference? How much force do you think it takes to push something that's made of stone or steel or whatever the minecart is made out of? They should say a lot or a little or whatever they are going to say. Is there more force being applied to when you push it on the boat, or is it less? They'll probably say less, or if they say more, you need to have them explain why you think that is. Okay, so now what we're going to have to do is we are going to have to not get in the cart because we can't be in it. We are going to push this cart to where it goes all the way to the end of the station. So there was your push. You can also talk about the potential and kinetic energy that was applied. So you can talk about where was the potential and where was the kinetic when you had to apply force to push the cart from one end to the other. Okay, so there is your second station. Now it's time to place these materials back into our kitty coaster. Now we move forward to step 3. Step 3. Step 3, we're calling that pushing through. Pushing through. Now keep that in mind. Now the first two, you had to put it at sort of an angle, and you have to apply a pushing force to get the transportation to move. So let's look in this chest to see what we're going to have to do. Here are your items. So you're going to have a powered rail, redstone torches, a mine cart, your grass blocks, your book and quill. Okay, so we're going to start off with our book and quill because we need to figure out what the directions are. And I love this because you are interacting in the game, and so you're not having to print anything, so that's very good. So the kids have to stop, pause, and read within the game if you're doing if you have a good amount of technology in the room, or if you're just using this as a video, maybe you stop and pause and have the kids read the directions. So whatever works for you. So we're going to take a look at the book and quill. Again, the directions are still the same. We're still talking about a 5x16 rectangle, and you're dealing with your materials. We're still talking about maybe doing a rough draft or a blueprint before you actually build. Okay, same spot. We're going to go back to our grass block, and we are going to start building our 5x16 rectangle. Alright, so we have our last station already built, the 5x16 block. Now we need to look at our powered rail. So your kids, the ones who know Minecraft really well, they can explain to you how the powered rail works. They should be able to tell that to you. If not, go into discussion of what a power rail does. So basically, it's like an electric rail. So it's going to move on its own. So you need to be able to talk to kids. Well, how is that going to affect our force in motion? They should be able to answer that. Do a quick hypothesis of what it's going to do, because it's power. So that means we're not using any manpower really to do this. So what we're going to do is we are going to go on ahead and put our rails down. Now, as you can see, what I'm trying to do now is put the minecart down, but obviously you need a track to do that. So I'm going ahead and power rail down. We're going to put a minecart down. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to destroy this one block, because I'm going to have to use a little bit of force to get this to move. But now we have 2 redstone torches, and what the redstone torch is going to do is it's going to activate that powered rail. So we're going to put this strategically somewhere. We're going to put it, let's say we put one right here, and notice that you see that the rail has turned on. We'll put one right here. Alright, so now this is the way, as a teacher, I have built it, but maybe the kids see a different vision. As long as they got the 5x16 square, you have stuff to play around with. Now you can do a compare and contrast between all 3 stations. What's different between the other stations and this one? We're going straight ahead, correct? So how is that going to work? And we got to apply a little bit of force for it to get to one and to the other. But on a powered rail, this goes back into probably circuits, because we've turned something on. Notice if I go and let's say I'm going to destroy this redstone torch. My rail is turned off, so if I pushed this minecart, it should probably stop at some point. Or maybe because since I have this redstone on, it may, because of the circuit, it may push it a little bit further. We don't know. That's something that you can discuss with your students. I'm going to place the redstone back here. And now what I'm going to do is we're going to apply some force to see what happens. As you can see, what happened was that the minecart went front and back, but we want to get it to stop at a certain point. So let's go and destroy this one block. And we're going to see what happens when we push this cart again. Okay, so now we got it at a stopping point. So that's another discussion that you can have with your students. So how can we get it to stop? It's going to go front and back. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to destroy this cart again, and we're going to experiment with what would happen if I turned off part of the rail, and we're going to add another cart. So there's different, you can get the students really to think what happens if we manipulate the station. What changes would happen. They can do some predictions. See what happens. Notice what happened. All of a sudden the cart stopped. We had no control over it. There was no torch, so it automatically stopped. Maybe what would happen if we put the torch there? Would it move? That's a prediction that you can ask your students. Obviously it does not move, so we're going to have to probably apply a little bit more force to get it to keep going and stop. Okay, so these are our 3 different stations that you can play around with in the Minecraft world. And I also have a hidden feature that none of the kids know, but I'm going to let you in on it. Okay, so one of the great features of Minecraft is the world of discovery. You're in an open world, and you get to just discover things that are in the world that you've never seen before. So this is why I brought you, the teacher, to this section. So what I've done is basically I've created a circuit to where I've controlled the weather. If you notice within this video, you saw the rain come and it stopped. Well, because of these controlled boxes, or controlled blocks, I had the power to stop it from raining and have constant daylight by using the redstone, which is pretty cool. But then I went to this command, and now I have the power to transport to another area. So your students can be curious, don't tell them, but this will take them to pretty much the answer key. I'm going to change positions. Alright, so now I'm facing one of the blocks, and what I'm going to do is I am going to click on the button. What I've done is I've transported way over there. If you can see far off in the horizon, those are my 3 stations all the way back there. I didn't float, I didn't walk, didn't fly. I just pressed that button. So if I went back here and I press the button, I'm back at my station. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna go back to my little answer key area. So I'm basically walking around here. Kids might figure out, well, like, why am I here? What's really going on? So if you just walk, if you notice, there are certain special areas where I have hidden things placed to where you can guess how these items were built, so you can go back to your station. So this one says, so notice I have a little trap door down here. I can go down here at the bottom, and underground is the same rail that we built in the previous station. So that's kind of like an Easter egg. Ask your students what Easter eggs are in video games. They'll love it. Now we'll go to another station. Notice this one says 1. And they're probably like, okay, well, what's 1? So if you go in, let's look and see. These are items that deal with our first station, 1 being the first station. I'm not going to open those now, but we're going to get out of here, and we're going to find where 1 might be. Notice that you see, a boat. That dealt with our first station. We're not going to actually go through this, but here is how an example of how the first station was built. There goes my rain again, and it stopped. So you can actually walk on the glass and kind of see what's going on. You can see if you go into the house, I have everything hidden. Kids love Easter eggs in video games, so I have everything hidden all up in the house, and that's where you can push the boat. Now we have one more item left. That was station 3. So let's go to station 3. Here is station 3. Station 3 is in the garden. I have my kitty coaster, so this was just an example. I grabbed my station 3 items from the houses wherever they're hidden. Some treasure chests, if I'm not mistaken, are on top of houses, so kids have to find that if they want to see how it was built. Okay, so that gives students a kind of a guess on, okay, this is how we need to build it. We're looking at this model, but as a teacher, don't tell them. They need to find it's kind of hidden. So we'll go back to our station here, and so now we're back at our 3 stations by clicking on the control button down here. And so, guys, this is just my first Minecraft lesson. Feel free to open yourself a Minecraft account or a Minecraft EDU account, and you can build this lesson for your kids. You can even create your own handouts, asking questions on how this would work. You can sketch things out, and again, it does not have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look exactly like this. The kids may come up with a whole different type of concept, but again, discuss those questions like in the water transportation one, how we change the state if matter, talking about the current, the coaster. We're looking at how we're going to apply force to make it move from one end to the other. And in this one, you can talk about circuits and how things move when you turn objects on, and did it move faster, which one moved the fastest. So there's a whole lot of questions that you can apply in this Minecraft world. So guys, thank you so much, and I will see you soon with another lesson.